ॐ नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Welcome to Jnana Yoga. We are seeing the chapters of Jnana Yoga from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. In the last session, we saw Swamiji's lecture, Unity in Diversity. In this session, we will see the 10th lecture, which is again Swamiji delivered in London, and it is titled Freedom of the Soul. Swamiji starts the lecture by saying we will take up Chandogya Upanishad, which is an older Upanishad compared to Katha Upanishad that we were studying. Then he points out that how in older Upanishads we can trace the development of an idea. In recent ones, the ideas are in collection form, devoid of ritualistic portion details. Vedas are probably the least tampered with scriptures in the world, and hence one can study the ancient development of ideas in them. Swamiji says that even Bhagavad Gita, we will find all the ideas collected at one place. So you cannot trace the development of ideas, how they grew. But in Vedas, you can find how from crude ideas, finer ideas evolved. In the West, the development of political ideas saw a gradual evolution of democratic values overriding any autocrat. That is, Western societies didn't allow any one individual to rule over them, and they gradually evolved towards democratic setup. Similarly, in India, the gradual development of metaphysical ideas led to initially one personal God. That is, in the beginning there were many smaller gods. Then the ideas evolved and they conceived of one single personal God ruling over entire creation. Even later it evolved into impersonal infinity, immanent in whole universe, and which is not a person, which is an impersonal infinite. And this similar investigation of human personality discovered impersonal principle within the human being also. So externally the ideas evolved into the impersonal infinity, and the search within the human soul also revealed the impersonal principle. Next came the gradual convergence of these two lines in the Upanishads, particularly in Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi, thou art that. That is the identity of the principle within the human heart, the cosmic principle. Tattvamasi, Tat indicates that universal cosmic infinite principle. Tvam indicates thou, that is you, that is the individual soul. And Tattvamasi is you are that impersonal self. So the identity of Atman and Brahman. After this discovery came the philosophers. They had the framework in Upanishads, but they had to fill in the details. The fundamental question, how one became many, this one impersonal infinite principle, how did it become many names and forms, souls and the world? This needed to be answered, and the finest answer produced in India is that of theory of Maya. Impersonal becomes personal only apparently and not really. This is the highest answer. But even this answer had stages of evolution. It had to evolve. Not all philosophers agreed with this. Initially, the crude dualist tried to stifle the very question, because it is a very tricky question. It cannot be answered in any logical way. So the crude dualist tried to stifle this very question and propagated the idea of predestination of everything, that is, inevitable will of God. But as the answer evolved, the theory of Maya, which is the finest answer, which says that the impersonal becoming personal is only apparent and not real. Then there were others who didn't accept the idea of Maya, but said that the whole creation was body of God and God was soul of all souls and nature. This is basically the Vishishta Advaita idea, which is in between Dvaita and Advaita, which says that the whole creation is the body of God, and God is the soul of all souls and the nature. And individual souls contract and expand depending upon evil and good deeds, and thus they come closer and closer to God. Whatever may be the religions, philosophies, mythologies, or allegories in any country, one idea is common everywhere. That is, out of all these diverse religions and philosophies, Swamiji points out that there is one common, and that is divinity of human nature. Differences are in the relationship of this divinity with God. Swamiji then said, we have to call out the divine nature in us and others. Highest as well as lowest knowledge or pleasure is but manifestation of one Satchidananda. So, any knowledge or any pleasure or any bliss in this phenomenal world is but manifestation of that pure infinite consciousness bliss self. Swamiji says existence and the soul is one with knowledge. The Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss absolute is the nature. And that is the birthright of the soul, and all the manifestations that we see are its expressions, dimly or brightly manifesting itself. Even death is but a manifestation of that real existence. Birth and death, life and decay, degeneration and regeneration, all are manifestation of that oneness. Swamiji says, freedom, immortality, blessedness all depend upon the soul being beyond the law of causation, beyond this Maya. If the soul is not free by itself and is capable of being corrupted by external nature, then it would mean that it cannot ever be free. But not a single religion accepts this. So even Christianity, in the Christianity, Adam was initially pure. Then the sin entered. And even Buddhism says that ultimately nirvana, or the state which is free. So no religion accepts that the soul is ever bound or it was not free in the beginning. Similarly, all philosophies also in some form put this same point forward. The subtlest philosophies among all the philosophies are those of Buddhist and Vedanta. Buddhist position is that no permanent soul, only vibrating particles creating illusion of permanent soul. That is, the body-mind complexes and the name and forms, just the vibrating particles, and there is no soul, spirit, Atman, Brahman, God, anything permanent or Satchidananda, what Vedanta calls as infinite pure consciousness bliss. That reality doesn't exist. All that there is this changing body-mind particles. So apart from that, there is nothing. This fastly vibrating body-mind particles create an illusion that there is something permanent like soul, or I am somebody distinctly permanent. That is an illusion. This is very subtle, but this is Buddhistic position. It only says that the flow of body-mind is impermanent, but it doesn't say that there is something immortal or pure consciousness which is devoid of name and form. But Vedanta position is that the permanent soul alone exists, and in the rapid succession of thoughts, illusion of matter appears. So it is in a sense a radically opposite position, wherein the Atman or the spirit or the soul is the only infinite permanent entity, while the illusion of body-mind, the matter, is the rapid succession of thought, which is just a temporary manifestation from that soul, within that soul. So we see there is a very important difference between Buddhistic position and Vedantic position. And if we see the social evolution or the political history of India, the Buddhist position actually have harmed India socially and politically. And after Shankaracharya, the Vedantic position tried to capture again the social stability and political stability. And philosophically also, Vedantic position is stronger than Buddhistic position. Swamiji says, so we see one side claiming that spirit is a delusion, and the other that matter is a delusion. Which side will you take? Of course, we will take the spirit and deny matter. The arguments are similar for both. Only on the spirit side, the argument is little stronger. For nobody has ever seen what matter is. We can only feel ourselves. I never knew a man who could feel matter outside of himself. So this is very powerful from a Vedantic perspective, also from a spiritual aspirant's perspective. This is important because we are essentially that self. While we experience ourselves as limited by the body-mind, that is not the absolute truth. Also, the spirit theory, that is the pure consciousness, bliss, Brahman, manifesting as individual soul, and the external universe, that is also better explained with this Vedantic position. Vedanta says the bondage is illusion and freedom is who we really are. This gives us strength, which is most needed because weakness brings all evils. Swamiji, throughout his lectures, his writings, is very emphatic that weakness and fear are the evils, while the strength, moral, spiritual strength, even physical strength, is the thing needed for humanity. And Swamiji says teaching dualistic ideas was a mistake. Instead, this monistic truth, that is, each and everybody is that infinite pure self, should be proclaimed to all. This is a very bold departure of Swamiji from the ancient sages and saints of all religions. Earlier times it was said that this bold truth of Advaita should not be proclaimed to one and all. But Swamiji says that instead of teaching the dualistic idea that God is ruling you and the world, teach them that you are that infinite soul and you are one with the world. We see also sages like Ramana Maharshi teaching one and all that find out the source of I and you will find that you are the self. Even if we can't immediately realize this highest truth, there is no reason to plunge into superstitions, delusion and weakness. Why should we go on adding more layers of ignorance to ourselves when this supreme truth is stated to us? We can, even though we cannot fully realize it, it gives us strength on each step. So monism alone gives us strength on every step. And Swamiji says, I am that pure and blessed one. Existence and the soul is one with knowledge. The Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, is the nature, the birthright of the soul. And all manifestations that we see are expressions dimly or brightly manifesting itself. Even death is but a manifestation of that real existence. Birth, death, life, decay, degeneration, regeneration, all are manifestation of that oneness. So in a sense, this lecture titled Freedom of the Soul says that, in this Swamiji says that essentially the soul or the spirit of everyone is one with that infinite and it is free. Next, Swamiji will take up the theme, the cosmos, and the aspect of cosmos related to macrocosm. Om Tat Sat.